right, man. What's up? What's up? You already know this is on top, man. A new field, a new show coming to the HBCU land, man. You already know. Round
Yes,
of
sir.
applause for everybody. Round of applause. Man, I'm at 100 subscribers. I'm giving y'all this to you. It's not for me, because it was for
It's
me.
for everybody.
There you go. The lady just
Everybody.
talked right there. This is Robyn Mcgee. This is one of my co-hosts. Robyn, go ahead and tell what you do and what you about.
Well, like Ron so eloquently said, my name is Robyn. I am the assistant gymnastics coach for the University of Wisconsin in La Crosse. Yes, I am all the way tuck-tailed in Wisconsin. I am from New Orleans, so I don't know how the hell I got out here, but I am. I'm thriving. Competition's going well. Season's going fantastically. I met these great gentlemen at the illustrious FAMU, okay, Florida A&M University. Go Rattlers! Look here, K is in my blood now. HBCU is
Mm.
thriving. You know what I'm saying? I love this. I love that we are coming together, community, giving the people what they need. Giving these HBCUs the spotlight that they deserve. Because hey, and we're airing during Black History Month. Like, can you get better? No,
Yeah,
Fire.
not better than this. Black History Month right here. Black History Maker. So thank you,
definitely.
Ron, having me on here. But I'm ready. I'm ready to talk. Let's get it.
All
Yeah.
right, and my other co-host, man, I know a lot of people gonna love this boy because
Hey,
I ain't
man.
gonna tell him what frat here, but
Here we
he a,
go.
he a Carolina boy, so I had to get a Carolina boy in here. And go ahead, Jay Good, tell him what you is and what you about, man.
Hey, man. My name's Jerry Goodson, man. I am from Wendell, North Carolina. Shout out to the Qs, member of Omega
Oh,
Psi Phi fraternity. I played ball 4 years. Winston-Salem State, played fullback, and met these two fabulous individuals at FAMU, as Robyn stated. Have a long list background of athletics, of football in particular. So ready to get down and dirty, man. Talk about this conference. Talk about this conference play. Talk about everything.
I
All right,
do have a question because I feel like someone's gonna ask this. Which Carolina is the best, North or South? Just
See
let me know,
what J.
because
Cole
I
say.
know Ron
see,
really
we,
repping the South,
we don't
but
do all that. We don't do all that.
oh,
What
It's
J.
okay.
just
Cole
called
say, man.
Carolinas.
What J. Cole say.
Mm,
Carolina.
Keep that same energy because as we continue, I have a feeling somebody, somebody probably gonna be like, North Carolina is the best, but hey, I
Two
don't
goats
know.
can coexist at the same time. That's what
All
Cole
Exactly.
right.
said, man.
I'm
Come
I'm
on, man.
writing that down. What's today? The 8th. All right. That both Carolinas are the best. Just in case we
Yeah,
have to refer
yeah.
back to
We the
this
Carolinas
conversation.
all the way. Carolinas all
Right,
the way.
right.
Trying to turn us on each other already, man. That's
I
crazy.
know, man.
Hey
Look,
man, listen, man.
look at it.
I keep it a stack every time we talk, so I just wanted to clear the air because I love both. I ain't gonna lie, I'm a Louisiana girl anyway, so the
Who?
boot really the best, but we're not gonna talk about that.
Go with Boots in
All right,
particular.
man. So I'm about to bring one of my special co-hosts in here. A lot of people know him as CFL. He does a lot of recruiting for HBCU. He know everything before it even come out. I don't know how this boy do it, but he does it. I mean, I'm talking about the 30 seconds player go to Jackson State. Next thing you know, a minute on YouTube, he posting it. A player can go to South Carolina State. Next thing on YouTube, he posting it. Everybody welcome the one and only CFL, man. Clap it up for my guy. Clap it up for my
Thank you,
guy,
thank
man.
you, thank you.
Introduce yourself, man. It's because some people, these people new to my channel. I just started. So introduce yourself,
I
man.
got you. So I go by the name of Kobe Orr. I am the host of the CFL podcast on YouTube. From South Carolina, the bottom, way at the bottom of South Carolina, Ridgeland to be exact. Very small town, everything like that. As far as school, I went to Limestone first. That's your hometown in Gaffney. Went to Winthrop for a couple of years, then came home, and just started this podcast. Overall, just a lover of football, and I enjoy talking about it. That's it for me.
All right, cool. So,
Welcome in.
we about to get into the show. So, Robyn, go ahead, do your thing.
Okay, well, I'm looking back on the signing day, and guys, one thing about it, two things for sure: Grambling and Jackson State like really killed it on the players they're looking at, the fact that this transfer portal is really playing into the strengths and the benefits of these teams. Now, I'll start with you, Kobe. Okay. In your opinion, based off of signing day, everything you know about football, everything about your history, your experience, who would you say had the best recruiting class for 22, right? And how do you think their season is going to go based off their recruiting class?
So this is it's a fairly easy answer, right? Just because Jackson State has the number one recruit in the country, because you have the number one slot receiver in the country, because you only had to address a few needs to get back to the Celebration Bowl and win it. It has to be Jackson State for that reason. If they didn't sign anybody else and only got Travis Hunter, I'm still putting them number one because you've never seen a number one recruit go to an HBCU in a very long time. So it has to be Jackson State, right? And I think, I don't know, because the schedule hasn't come out yet. We're still waiting on that. But the only teams that I see giving Jackson State a run for their money, number one, FAMU, just because they were 1 point away from it being a whole different outcome last year. And then, of course, everybody's giving it to Grambling. I'm not going to give it to Grambling. I will say A&M is coming back a lot harder now that they've addressed the defensive needs. So, if depending on how those two games go, I think Jackson State will be back in the Celebration Bowl. But I'm a little biased, so
I feel that.
Man, it is.
I feel that. What you guys think, Jerry, Ryan? Where y'all thoughts at? What we doing?
Jerry, go ahead. I'm gonna go last because I'm gonna get to my boy CFL.
I agree. I think Jackson State they have a pretty good class coming in. Not only that 5-star recruit, they also got 4-star Coleman, the wide receiver as well, another 4-star defensive end coming in. And I think I feel like they have addressed their offensive line problem. They signed, I want to say, 5 offensive linemen since coming in. So they have a lot that's been changed over this offseason. But I want to say a sleeper. For me, I think Grambling. They're signing a lot of good people.
Hold on, not yet, Jerry. Don't do the sleeper yet. Don't do the sleeper.
Okay, all right. Well, we'll pause it right there, and we'll say that's going to win. I'm gonna say Jackson State.
Jackson State. Yeah. I don't know, y'all. I saw where Sanders was like, he doesn't pitch kids, right? He doesn't sell anything. And I don't know, as an athlete, for a coach to kind of admit that, it takes like basically people are putting him on this pedestal that like he has to basically sell his kids or be able to sell them something for them to come to the institution. And I feel like the way that he's going about his recruiting is one, favorable as an athlete. It's just like, yes, he has a status. Yes, he's big Deion Sanders, right? He prime time. Like, we know his status, but he's not using that, I feel like, as a way to recruit his kids. Like, I feel like he's doing the natural thing that a coach should be able to do: have a conversation, define what the needs, and actually look out for the athletes and what their best interests are, right? So in that respect, I don't know. I feel like Jackson State gonna take it to the head again, but that's just my opinion. That's me.
Let me stop y'all right here. All this, everybody want to choose Jackson State. Jackson State over here. Jackson State over here. Jackson State everywhere. I mean, yeah, I understand Jackson State probably does have one of the best recruiting classes because they got a 5-star. Yeah, man. But to me, I feel like I can't put nothing over Jackson State, but the only two teams I can see right near them is FAMU and Grambling. Like, you can't tell me that the boy Hugh Jackson ain't went down there and swallowed the muds up and carried them on his back and say, "Hey, I got NIA deals for everybody." Come on. I'm talking about receivers. That's no receiver is under 6 feet. Point that again. No receiver is under 6 feet. You
That's
got to get
facts.
some dogs at court. Travis Hunter may be a dog, but whew, it's hard to do a jump ball with an even bigger dog. That's all I know.
They got some big
That's
boys,
facts.
man.
They
Yeah,
do
they
have some big.
it was. And Jackson State, yeah, like I said, I give them number one, but it's very hard because the skill position can be anywhere. Like all these skill players, they can easily be D1. Like they can easily be on any D1 roster. I ain't gonna say Power 5. They can be on any D1 roster. But as far as the offensive line, I gotta see it in the spring game. I really have
That's
to
true.
see it in the spring game and see how they develop and get the chemistry right. Because if you don't get that chemistry right, it's real hard for an offensive lineman to bounce back. But like I said, mine is Jackson State. I don't want to give prime time all the little glory. So I'm Jackson State and I'm with Grant right now.
Okay, so I have a question just to clear this up because I'm not that abreast with like the recruiting process for football necessarily, but I looked into Southern's recruiting class and like only 6 of their incoming players are from high school and the rest are all transfers. So do y'all think that is because of like the new transfer rules that the athletes have now that we're just seeing an influx of more transfer athletes as opposed to high school students? Or do y'all feel like it's just like it's a hit or miss? It depends on the program. Like, because that was the first time I've ever seen that many outweigh high school students or folks that are coming out of high school. Because I'm looking at the numbers and it was like for Southern just specifically, they had 26 commits and only 6 of those came out of high school. The rest of the 20 was all transfer. And those transfers were coming from different locations, whether it was community college, whether it was some of the D1s, right? So I'm just thinking, like, is it just this year that we're seeing a difference? Because I don't know. Y'all got to help me with that.
I'll let CFL answer that question because I know he more knowledge about most of the recruits and stuff.
So I think the biggest contributing factor to that happening is the fact that you want, now that you can win right away, now that this transfer portal thing is in effect, if you can win right away just by getting a few pieces that you need, you're gonna do it. A lot of these coaches are getting lazy. I can say that. A lot of them don't want to develop kids right out of high school anymore because that takes at least about 2 years. So they look at it as why do that when I can go and get this kid out the portal who ain't like the past school he was at. You can come in, you can help me right away. We can get this thing going a lot quicker, and everything can be good. And I think that's going to hurt them in the long run. We've seen a few coaches who relied on that transfer portal before the transfer portal was a thing. They just relied on transfers too much and it ended up hurting the program in the long run. So that's something that they got to be careful with. But the biggest contributing factor is, seeing Coach Prime do what he do with his 40-20 rule, 40-40-20 rule with the transfer portal and high school kids. And then, just realizing like, maybe I can win right away the same way. So yeah, they got to be careful with that. But I definitely think that's the main reason.
Yeah, I connect with that too. Just when you said like these coaches are not wanting to reinvent the wheel with these athletes and try to develop them. We want them already ready to go so we can bring in championships, bring in winning streaks. So I can understand that. I've never seen that too much of like that outweighing number. I'm like, what? All these people coming from these different schools. Like y'all ain't like them that bad. Damn.
But the piggyback off of CFL, I mean, yeah, a lot of coaches do depend on. They are dependent on those transfers to come, but at the back end, at some schools, they're having like quarterbacks and safeties. They're actually picking up on multiple positions so they can coach them in the long run, so they can actually be ready and not put in year 2. Where they can probably get in on year 3, so they already been coached for 2 years, and you don't have to rush them out on the field, and you'll have better products. So that can help. And if you're a second string waiting for 2 years, that can hurt too. But you just, if you go there for the love of that school, it's not gonna hurt. If you just go there thinking about you're gonna play right out of high school, then that's kind of gonna hurt you. So it's a give or take as far as
Man,
that.
let me speak on my past real quick. Man, at the illustrious Winston-Salem State, the original Last Chance U, we did this every year. We got players from Alabama, Carolina, ECU. I could probably name about 14, 15 different schools, and we won the conference, 7, 8 years in a row. So for me personally, I believe that formula, it does work for certain coaches. For coaches like Connell Manor, he's done it before. He's done it at my school at Winston-Salem State. He did it 6 times and then went to Hampton. I want to say he did it there too. But he can do something like that. I'm sure these other schools are working that process. So I got a little bit of mixed feelings about, developing these 4-year guys, because you don't know. Those guys might enter themselves in the transfer portal. So you never know. But I feel like that plug and play guy for the transfer, it works on certain occasions.
No, I feel that. And even like, okay, now that we're talking about, who's being recruited and how they're getting recruited, right? Who would you say would be the best recruit, right? That whoever institution that you want to put it on, because I'm not going to just say the number one, right? But who would you think is the best recruit that just came out into this class of 22? Give me top 3. I would say top 3. Top 3. Off the top of the dome, class of 22. Where they going?
See if you want to.
All right, so for Jackson, clearly that's Travis, right? Like you just can't make the list without him. For South Carolina State, I got Mr. Marquis Bradley, right? Because he comes from Gaffney High School. That's a lush, but yeah. You know about Gaffney, right? Marquis Bradley is a 6'1", 200-pound corner with one of the longest wingspans you ever seen, and runs a 4.4. I think Coach Pugh developing those corners the way that he does, oh boy, going to turn into a real life draft pick when it's his time to come out. So I would say him. And I'm torn between Shamonte Burgess, that also went to South Carolina State, and this wide receiver whose name just eludes me for FAMU, because both those guys are dynamic athletes. But I guess I'll go with Shamonte Burgess just because he's one of the fastest kids in the state of South Carolina, a kid who can really take the top off your defense, can contribute right away, punt return, kick return, but eventually, you're going to see him on the field a lot more in his freshman season. So I think those 3 kids are the best in HBCU.
Mm-hmm. What we got, guys? What we got? Top 3.
Go ahead, Jerry.
I have to say first, Travis, of course, that's the given. Travis is probably the top recruit or top sign, period, just for him being a 5-star and watching the highlights of things that he can do. But I also want to pitch in and say for Grambling, they signed a couple guys that kind of marked my radar. Running back Maurice Washington looked amazing on his film. Really agile, really a quick one-step cut guy. He looked really good on film to me. I want to say, did you see the 4-star wide receiver Wilson that signed with Grambling as well? He looked really good on film.
Yeah.
That would be my top 3. I believe. Ooh, I didn't even mention FAMU's. Oh man, let me take Wilson off. Let me take Wilson off.
Draft picking.
Let me take Wilson off. I'm gonna take him off. He is amazing. He's an amazing athlete. But I would have to add. I like the linebacker that FAMU signed, 6'4", 220.
Oh, I think I know you're talking about. I forgot his name. But I know you're
Michael Watson, I believe. Michael Watson.
Yeah.
6'4", 220 is draft day size. And that's unbelievable, unremarkable size for, to have that linebacker. So I think he's going to do really good.
Okay. I mean, like y'all two first is Travis. He got crazy hands to be a corner. Like, I want to really see him do some offensive work when he get on offense. I know CFL gonna come right back. I know he's really gonna do some crazy work when he get on offense. Like he's an athlete. My next one is Jordan Moore from FAM. He's the 4-star. He is the 4-star safety / corner. I'm talking about Jordan Moore is my second pick CFL. He's the safety / corner / nickel / linebacker / wherever you want to put him. When I saw his highlight film and everything, like, good God, I saw Brian Dawkins. Like, that's what I said. I said, good God, where you find this country bucking from? He's like everywhere. Like when I say everywhere, I haven't never seen a player play that fast every play. And when I interviewed him, he said when he was at Texas A&M, he said this. He said they would run so fast in practice that the athletic trainers, they have these little like monitors on them to tell, let their heart rate, how fast they're going and how fast, they're moving in practice. They said they had to chill down because that's how fast they were going in practice to translate in the game. So, and that didn't turn down at all since he went to Kilgore, and I know it's not going to turn down at FAM. So that replaced that, that Marquis Bell in the backfield coming up and laying those hits. And my third pick right now, I know it's just recent, but LSU signed a 4-star wide receiver. I mean, not LSU. LSU let go of a 4-star receiver. He went into the transfer portal. He's at Southern now. His name Drake Davis. Yeah. I know he's gonna do some work. So these corners better be ready. Yeah, man. Because the SWAT got receivers. So corners
they got receivers.
All right, if we just talk about SWAC then, so let's highlight the SWAC a little bit. Who y'all think is gonna be in the championship? Who y'all got? Just on top of the dome. Don't think too quick.
Who's gonna be in the championship?
Yep. Championship.
It's a sequel. It's gonna be a sequel. State versus JSU again.
Back to back.
It's a sequel.
I don't know. I said State. Well, actually, okay. Let me ask y'all this. So SWAC has the two like East and West, correct?
Yeah.
And so in essence, when they're competing, do they have to compete within their region and then those two teams from the regions come and battle at the SWAC championship? Is that how it works?
Yeah.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Got you. What is FAM? FAM is on the East, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I would think so. Just because geographically, but then I'm like, they all in the South. So it starts to get screwed. Then Jackson State's on the West, right?
No, Jackson State's in the East too.
See, they got to battle out because then if I didn't play into that, I would have said State and FAM. But now that I think about it, I guess it got to be Grambling and Jackson State. I guess that's the only thing. That's the only true answer, right?
Mm-hmm. That's what
That's the only true answer. If they didn't have the East and the West, then I definitely would have put into head-to-head between Jackson State and FAM. But I guess they're gonna have to battle it out to see who goes to the championship, and I think that's gonna be a solid game for sure. I know we don't know the schedules yet, but I know they gotta play. So it's gonna be interesting to see how they come together.
Yeah, let me say this. Grambling, for me, their signings were huge. So I gotta go with Jackson State, of course, and I gotta go with them against Grambling. Grambling signed a running back, Chance. They call him Lambo, Chance Lambo Williams. That man got some speed on him, man.
The Lambo is crucial in the name.
Big Bo, 2,100 rushing yards last year, 20 touchdowns. So I think he's definitely gonna be a factor. Probably, I don't know if they probably gonna start him at running back or what, but I can definitely see him on special teams contributing on kickoff return, punt return, things like that.
Shoot, me, this what I heard when I was in Miami and I was at that game last year with FAMU and Jackson State. All roads either lead to the playoffs, or all roads lead to the Celebration Bowl. So, whichever team wins, going to have vice versa. Like, there's no you like for the FCS, there's no chance where you're not going to miss having a Jackson State team if they lose the FAM in the beginning of the year in the playoffs. And if FAM goes all the way and they have to play South Carolina State twice, which Willie Simmons already has a good record over South Carolina State, even though South Carolina State played them hard all the way to the end every time. That they scored a goose egg against FAM. Some of their players hurt, and from I know a good bit of South Carolina State players, they said FAMU defense is really good. So I eat at that, but all roads lead to them. To me, I don't want to pick right now until I see that game. When that game comes out, then that's who's going to be. Whoever win that game is going to be the SWAC championship and going to go to the celebration.
That's facts. And I'm just looking at, okay, we're talking about all the teams that we feel like is going to do great, who have, the top recruits, getting in line, doing what we need to do. But what about the teams that needs a little bit more attention? They need a little bit more fine tuning, right? Think about those teams that didn't have a good recruiting class. Let's talk about, let's bring some attention to them, because maybe they need a little bit of spice in their life. You know what I'm saying? We bringing up the Gremlins, the FAMUs, the Jackson State, but we need to talk about the elephant in the room with some of these other teams. Let's build them up. Where we at? Who y'all want to talk about?
Go ahead, CFL.
So as far as who did just bad or not good enough at recruiting, it's two teams that come to mind. Number one, UAPB ain't did nothing. Absolutely nothing. They ain't signed nobody. We ain't heard from them. I'm so disappointed.
I hope you mention it. That's it.
UAPB ain't did a darn thing.
It almost seemed like they didn't try. Like they just not even looking. Were y'all looking? Did you go to any other people's games?
Right. It was so frustrating to watch. I don't know what they had going on. So definitely them. And second, Texas Southern did nothing to support Andrew Body. You got a young star quarterback in the making. You ain't go out and get linemen to protect him. You barely got him weapons, right? And that he needs. So it's what do you expect him to do? Carry your team for the next 3 seasons? You should have gone out and supported this kid. Now that you got something with him. So those two for me, I was very disappointed in those two.
Thanks,
man. Shout out to Andrew Body, man. They treating that boy I don't even know. They treating this boy like he in the NFL. Like Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson ain't got no line. Andrew Body ain't got no line. What he supposed to do?
Just fend for himself. One man show.
You better run.
Better run.
Oh man. But I would have to agree with you. I think UAPB they're not putting anything out. I was looking all around, spent a long time researching, trying to find some of their signees that kind of popped off the board for me, but it's not doing it for me.
So I'm gonna go ahead and say I'm gonna go me at Norfolk. They ain't did that damn thing. They ain't did a damn thing. They could have got some running backs in Illinois somewhere. Them. They could have got somebody from Wisconsin. Where you at right now? They ain't did a damn thing. They ain't trying to win a MEAC championship at all. They're like, hey, buddy, you can have them. Go ahead and get 3 more.
It just seems like the MEAC is just dwindling to almost it. Where is it going? I mean, we lost Bethune, we lost FAM. It's what are they really trying to do for their conference to build them up? And it almost seems like they're not. I feel like the SWAC has so much camaraderie, even though we have the challenges between each team. But when you look at the MEAC, Like there's no stud that's popping out at me right now. Now that Fam and Bethune is gone, it's just like where did it go? So I don't know. The MEAC definitely gonna have to step up for me for sure. Just as a whole conference, just uplift them, please, somebody. For sure, the swag is really out here making the monies, getting the deals, right? Speaking, actually, okay, before we get on the deals and stuff, Jerry, talk about the sleeper class. You had just mentioned it earlier, but let's get back to it. Give us your thoughts, your holistic viewpoint. Sleeper class, what is it?
I mean, I think to me, I heard everybody talking about Jackson State this, Jackson State that. I seen FAMU, they signed, they're one of their best classes. So to me, they're kind of the out front leaders of who's going to win it. But I really got a good feeling that Grambling is going to, take a huge step this year and turn everything around. They signed a lot of 4 stars, a lot of 3 stars, a lot of transfers. Like I said, the running back, Big Lambo, he's going to do something. You got a tight end. He from I can't remember what school he transferred from, but Noah Bean, that's his name. Noah Bean, quick guy, tall, long. He's real agile. It's very, very not often that you'll see a tight end as quick as this guy. So I think they're going to have a lot of success on the field. I think they're going to kind of improve a lot from last year, and I think they might end up taking it.
Kobe, you agree? You agree?
Sleeper class, you got to go Mississippi Valley. Mississippi
Yeah.
Valley went out and got the #1 JUCO quarterback in his class, right? That alone, because last year, I forget the quarterback's name last year, he wasn't a thrower. So that kind of limited your offense a little bit. Now you get the #1 dual threat quarterback in the country, right? You get a running back who is built like Leonard Fournette, right? Tall, real strong, right? Runs high. If you let him run downhill, it's over with. You went and got linemen. We forget how important linemen is. We talk about these flashy receivers and running backs. Now they went and got linemen to support these weapons that they brought in. Now Mississippi Valley is not going to be the laughingstock of the SWAC anymore. And they're going to be a trap game for a lot of schools next season. So I got to say Mississippi Valley State.
Yes, you forgot the one biggest recruit on Mississippi Valley State. They damn field. Man, get their ass some turf field. God damn. Get some goddamn turf.
Nah, that field is a hazard, bro.
Bruh, like they should take the field before every game and say construction.
Caution tape.
Like,
Watch your step.
Watch your step.
But my sleeper is Alabama A&M. I feel like they addressed like every need they didn't have last year. They got old linemen, they got receivers, they got a defensive players that they needed. I think they got either 1 or 2 quarterbacks. I'm thinking. I feel like they're going to do real good, and from what I'm seeing, I think they probably got one of the hardest schedules from what I know, because like from everybody else outside of the SWAC, they got a tough schedule. Like they play FAM, they play Jackson State, they play like some, I think either 1 or 2 D1 teams. So yeah, so we really gonna see if they battle ready for what's about to come this season. That's my sleeper.
No, that's for sure. Yeah. And just like transitioning, we've been seeing a lot of deals going on. HBCU proud, love to see what they're doing, especially when it comes to finances, monetary expenses, all of those different things, right? Let's talk about Grambling's NIL deal, right? Do we feel like it's going to be something that is going to sustain, right? Or are you paused? What happened? Rabaron, you need me?
You good? You good? Go ahead. We're gonna touch bases on that later, but you go ahead.
Go ahead on the deal. You sure? Keep going.
We're gonna touch bases on that later.
Okay, so what would you want to do? Do you want to touch base on the actual concept of everything that went on with the deal, or come back to it? How you feel?
We're gonna come back to it. I don't
Come
want.
in.
Yeah, I don't want.
Why do I feel
CFL.
like you have something to share with the group? Like, what's
No, I
going
don't. I don't
on?
want to hold CFL up. That's the only thing. I
Nah,
don't want to hold CFL up. You know what I'm saying?
you good. You good.
My thing was only to try to keep him on here for 30 to 40 minutes. You know, I don't
Okay,
want.
well, Kobe, let me know what time on your hands. You got some time to talk about this deal, bro, or
Yeah, I
do you
got
need
some
to head
time. We
out?
could talk about
Okay, because I have an issue with it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And this is just my own personal opinion, guys. I love that they have this. Don't get me wrong. Love what it's going to do for the university. Love what it's going to do for athletics. Love what it's going to do for the athletes up and foremost, right? But my only reservation is that is this going to be able to be sustainable? Is it going to be able to be, something that can continue happening for our athletes, or is this going to be a one-hit wonder where we're having, so much attention around it, we're building it up, right? And then later down the line, we know how our HBCUs get sometimes. Sometimes we start to lose focus, right? We start to, not saying that we're gonna just forget about the athletes all in totality, but I feel like sometimes we start to think more about, and when I say we, I'm thinking about the HBCU community. We're going to build up these academics, right? We're going to build up how we want to build up our Black professionals and get them into the world and get them, to be ready. And we kind of give our athletes and our athletic programs a little sidebar. So I'm only thinking like, this is great. It's amazing work, but can it last and will it last for a long period of time so that like, when my kids get into, college, is it still gonna be there? You know what I'm saying? So I'm just like, want to feel the room where you guys are at, with the deal, and just give me your opinion on it.
it's kind of hard to answer, if it's going to be sustainable. From what I heard, though, the whole there's like a partnering company that supplies that money for those athletes, right? Like
Yeah,
yeah. So I can say I feel like as long as Hugh is there, we know it's going to stay. But the concern is after he leaves, will it? And I get that. I understand that. The same thing can be said about Jackson and all the good things they getting. Are y'all going to be able to maintain this once Prime leaves? And I think you just have to cross that bridge when you get to it. There's no real way to answer it because you don't know who'd come in and replace these guys and what their values and motivations would be. But I can say that while we have it, it's a great thing. Like if Coach Prime came out and said during the spring that his kids have to go to practice and then get dressed to go to work, like after that, and now that they've got these NIL deals, they don't have to worry about that. I can just
right,
imagine what's it like for so many other student athletes who don't go to Jackson. You feel me?
right.
So I absolutely love this. I love that all these kids. I hope that more schools adopt it. For every single player on that team, I see nothing but good coming from this, and hopefully, whenever Hugh and Prime and the Eddie Georges of the world, whenever they move on, hopefully this can be sustained. But I don't think it's a real way to know until it happens.
That's fair. And I do want to actually point out too that this is the first HBCUs to have an NIL deal for all of their athletes. A lot of people have that misconstrued and be like, well, they're not the first HBCU to have an NIL deal. No, that's not the issue. It's for all of their athletes. Women, men, every sport. If you are an athlete, you got a deal. So I think also just highlighting and uplifting that so that the people can understand exactly the history that's being made for that university and for just HBCUs as a whole. So yeah, Kobe, you got it right. We want more people to get involved, more institutions to follow this in line because it can happen. Clearly, it's possible, but it's just like everybody needs to follow suit, And I feel like even that could help the sustainability process, right? The more folks that are doing the same things, right? We can play off of each other's strings. We can ask questions. We can be able to lean on each other in that respect. That's why I'm going back to the MEAC and be like, y'all like each other because it doesn't seem like y'all connected as a group. I need y'all to be cohesive, So yeah, what y'all thoughts?
For me, I think it's dependent on one thing: wins, the amount of wins they get. If they're starting off the season hot, they're starting off good, they have a good season, and then they have another good season next year. I think it's pretty much sustainable. Wins are the cure for everything when it comes to athletics. But if they start off a little shaky, and start doing bad a year or two, they're doing down seasons, they're not winning the championship, making to the championship, I can see them kind of pulling that, saying, hey, we can go to another university that may be doing better. But I actually do see Grambling pulling things together, because not only are the athletes now getting paid, the younger kids are seeing this in the future, saying, hey, if I go to Grambling, it doesn't matter what sport I play, I will make some money. I'll be able to give money back to my family. And that's the biggest thing in life, taking care of your family, taking care of your loved ones. So I think it could be sustainable.
Yeah.
I'm gonna touch bases just tad bit. We're gonna hit this topic later. From what I know, shout out to Hugh, because if it weren't for him, they wouldn't be having this deal. If that dude like Oprah, he just giving out. If everybody in the stands get NIA, you get an NIA deal. You get an NIA deal. You get an NIA deal. Everybody get an NIA deal. So that's a little Oprah thing he probably had. But I know in the back end, they're gonna have to do something for those organizations or those partnerships, for them to, get vice versa. Like, okay, give me the softball team and we're going to do something with them, and that's how you get your hours, and that's how you get your little change for the month. Okay, now let's get the golf team. That's how you get your little hours. That's how you get your little change for the month. So that's what I'm thinking is more a part the line of is they're doing something, and they, instead of getting hours in return, they're getting hours and they get money in return. So basically I think it's a 2-for-1 deal, but that's how I base it off as, and boosters too. So Hugh bringing in probably a buttload of boosters, just hey, just please contribute, blah blah blah. But I ain't gonna touch on too much of that. But thank you, CFL, man. Definitely, I'm gonna definitely have you on more. Like again, shout out your Twitter, Instagram, let them know who you is, and YouTube, man.
All right, so basically everything: Instagram, Twitter, hell, even TikTok, everything Kobe Orr. Just go follow me at COBIORR. It's all together. And that's it.
All right, man. Thank you, man.
Hey, appreciate y'all for having me on. I really enjoyed it, man. Thank y'all.
Appreciate you, man.
Peace.
Thank you.
The Pre-Snap Read is sponsored by Sadie's Delights, man. It's in Orlando. It's good food, good tasting, fresh. Man, this week he had the chicken pasta, the broccoli with the bread, man. It's so good. It's so good. And we got to talk about this peach cobbler. Oh, my God. It was delicious, man. I ain't gonna lie. I haven't had good food in a while since I'm in Orlando. But Sadie's Delights. Follow him on IG and put your order in.
Now we're going to talk about the basketball, man. I'm about to bring in, this one means a lot to me. This is my man. Like I said, I'm gonna give y'all a little, heartfelt story. It's a little like.
It's right here. It's right here. Go ahead.
There you go.
Oh
man. Like I said, I saw this dude on campus a couple of times. I didn't know who he was. He didn't know who I was. I saw opportunity to learn, to get information from him, and literally, he took me under my wing. After that, man, like big brother, little brother, man. He definitely real knowledge about basketball. He knows a lot. He's been in a coaching game. He knows recruits. He knows damn every HBCU coach, HBCU player, HBCU trainer. If you name a coach, player, trainer for the basketball, god damn it, shit, he can name it. And if he don't know it, he gonna find out. God damn it. Everybody, welcome to one and only Coach K, man. What's up, Coach K? Everybody get this man right up. What's up?
What's going on, man? Thanks so much for having me on here, man. Excited to talk about HBCU basketball. Excited to join you guys this evening. Just ready to get to it, man. A lot of things happening as we get ready to get, close to postseason with 6 or 7 games remaining here on the regular season schedule. So it's exciting times, man.
All right, man. Yes, it is an exciting time. So, give the people a little your background, where you from, how you got started in basketball, and
I got you. Well, hey, my name is Kevin Lynham. At Coach Kevin Lynham on Twitter and social media platforms. But been around the game for a long time. Actually started back in the day on the AAU circuit coaching. Did that for a while. Grew a program in the state of Florida, which is where I'm originally from, Gainesville. Was raised up in Atlanta, Georgia. Went to Tucker and Lithonia High School. So kind of been around. Spent 8 years in the U.S. Army. The Army afforded me the opportunity to get around the country and even see the game at different levels. So really was an eye opener for me when I got out of the service. Doors opened up. Blessed and fortunate, man, and was able to get into the college game. And actually, prior to last year, spent about the last 10, 11 years coaching the collegiate level, serving as a junior college head coach out in Kansas. Served on various staffs as an assistant Winthrop University, who competes in the Big South Conference. And then obviously my last stop was the head women's basketball coach at Florida A&M University. So been around this game for a long time. Love this game. Love what this game gives to us all. And, that's who I am, man. I eat and sleep this stuff right here. So love the game of basketball, man, and specifically love HBCU basketball.
Definitely, man. Man, I'm gonna tell y'all a little story. Well, I know Coach K gonna remember this. So, me, Jerry can attest to this too, man. We think we are athletes, man. We can do anything. We can. If you want to play hockey, man, we could do it, man. Man, I ain't played in a minute, so I kind of work out, do other stuff here and there. So first day at practice. No, this is training camp. He said, be there at 5 a.m. I'm like, all right, I go to work at 7. I can do that. That's easy. To them, it's gonna be hard, but to me, that's light work. So okay, we wake up. He said, all right, shoot, we're gonna run the whole campus. I was like, who? Man, I'm telling you, talking about running that whole FAMU campus, bro. I was tired. I was tired for 3 days just running that whole. But the thing about it is, Coach K was in front of everybody. He was in front of everybody, killing us. And I'm like, bro, how?
Hey, man.
When you got to work on when your coach ahead of you.
Exactly. I was like, well, I need to cut out a little bit more party in that top. Like,
stay ready. You ain't got to get ready.
Exactly.
Oh, wait. I don't know.
So,
and in the Army, we say, follow me. Everybody else repeat, lead the way. So you got to lead by example, baby.
Yeah, definitely. Man, let's get on this landscape of basketball right now, man. So,
Coach, I got a quick question for you, right? So, one, comparing. So when the FAMU guys played their game with Texas Southern, not the best hopeful how we wanted it, right? But then came back and shut it down against Prairie View. So, in your opinion, what do you think that they did to really turn and shift that energy back into a better streak going forward? And do you think that, they can get back on that streak now that they got this big win over that dramatic win? That's what I would say. Dramatic. It was crazy. 0.7 left on the clock, and they really shut it down. So what's your thoughts on that?
Well, first thing, got to give credit to Coach McCullum. Coach McCullum's been there, very, very smart man. Has had the opportunity to have stops at South Florida, Oregon, now at FAMU. Does a heck of a job. And what I saw was, I think the team realized what was working for them. They had to get Dominguez in there. Obviously knocked down a couple of big time threes there. Took him out of the game. And everybody at that point is not looking for him. So they go back to MJ Randolph, the top player in the SWAC right now. And then you give him all that attention. Well, here we come within the last few possessions. Coach McCullum snuck him back in there, to draw that attention. 2 possessions actually prior to the last possession. So everybody's keying in on MJ. Everybody's keying in on MJ. And then all of a sudden, there he goes. And on that last possession specifically, they inbound the ball to MJ Randolph, the leading scorer in the SWAC. He penetrates those baseline, looks to attack the basket. Of course, the entire lane just collapsed. on MJ. And there he was, the man that's been knocking it down all night. He made a big shot when it mattered. And I'll say this, I certainly think that FAMU is going to get back on track. I don't think that they lost any ground at all. Again, I know that coach. I worked side by side with that coach. Literally just 5 office doors down. And he gets after it. He knows what he's doing. He's been doing it a long time, and he's always going to put his players in a position to win. So FAMU is definitely, they're going to do what they're going to do. But not to take away from, what other conference opponent or teams are doing. Look at Southern, the success that they're having, being able to execute not just at home, but on the road. Getting it done consistently. And Texas Southern, they made that Florida trip, and, they made it count for themselves. So much credit to those guys, but I certainly believe that, Florida A&M, at the end of the day, they're going to be in the running. They're going to have a shot. So I'm excited to see how, these last few games play out.
Yeah, that's amazing. And even just touching point, we talk about the men's, but what about your young ladies here? Do you feel like we're moving in a better position now that we're getting ourselves together, mid-season? What do you think? What are your thoughts at?
So with the women, we faced a number of things, obviously COVID, right now Dylan Horton being down, went down a few games ago with that ankle injury. That's really killing the team. You're talking about 18 to 24 points production on any given night. And when you look at the scoreboard, that's exactly what's missing. So I think when she gets back into the lineup, she gets healthy, I think they will have a pretty good run here at the end. I think they have some games, some competitive games. I know they're going to go on the road this weekend and have the opportunity to compete against Alcorn. So, games like that, they'll hopefully go in there and capitalize and get themselves back on track. But, shout out to Anaja Harris, the young lady that, second leading scorer on the team. She's held it together. Just the ability to knock down shots. She's so crafty with the ball. You don't know if you want to defend her all the way out to the 3-point line. Because she can put it on the ground, give you a hezzy, and be at the basket in 3 seconds. So, very crafty player that's continuing to carry that load. I think long as the bigs down low can stay out of foul trouble, that's key. Too often we're finding ourselves in early game foul trouble. Stacia Allen, love the kid to death, but got to stay out of foul trouble to really give us a chance to compete. Because on the boards, she's lights out.
Right.
She's 10 rebounds a game, every game. But, when you're in foul trouble on the bench, you don't have a way, to help the team there. But I think we'll be okay. I think we'll be okay as the team continues to grow as well. You look at Mallory Brooks, third leading scorer, just a sophomore, first time ever on the court, but a sophomore academically. So they'll be fine. But, really on the women's side, if we're talking about it, let's talk about it. As they say, the Jackson State University is the team to beat.
They in there. I saw some highlights. I said, "Wee!"
They're bad to the bone. And I want to put it on notice to everybody in the country. Number 4, Arnisha Williams, pro.
I said WNBA for sure.
6'4", gets it done anywhere 15 feet in, can knock it down around the basket. Pro. If you sleeping on them, stop. Because this time she get her recognition. That's a pro.
For sure. Absolutely. And even just touching on just a little bit of your coaching philosophy, things like that. Do you feel like throughout the season, your coaching philosophy kind of change and shifts catering to your new team and everything, the culture around that team? Or do you try to, remain consistent in your coaching and just kind of, change it as need be based off of the performance of the athletes?
Well, there's some things that are certainly non-negotiables. When you're looking to build a culture and you're really trying to build your team, some things are non-negotiable. However, as the old saying says, as you guys were just talking about NIL and stuff like that, you either evolve or you're extinct. And that's the reality of it. Those that are evolving with their teams, obviously, you're bringing in recruits every year, coming from different backgrounds, different walks of life. If you're not evolving with those teams, I'm telling you, you're not going to have success. That's the number one thing nowadays. And coaches are having to recruit their teams harder than they've ever had to recruit their teams before. And so, that's a reality that they're facing right now, with the transfer portal and everything else. I think in basketball, differently than football, and not to say that they don't have transfer portal and it's not doing numbers, but it is really, really big time. When you're talking about 12 to 15 roster spots for any given team, it's real out here and it's cold.
That's very true. Absolutely. And I'm just thinking about we're at such a different time when you want to, play into COVID, you want to play into just how so many different barriers have come across from us. And we've these athletes are resilient. like especially this class that we're experiencing right now. Like, I don't know if I could say that I would be as confident in my athletic ability knowing that all of this is going around me and I have to show up and play and I have to go to school and I have to go back to sleep and wake up and do it all over again. Like, just looking at it, I just want to build these athletes up and let them know that y'all are doing a phenomenal job. But then also, coach, y'all are killing the game too, because not only do you have to manage that, you have to also manage your own self. And just like you said, there's non-negotiables and you have to stick to that no matter what the situation is. So I just want to build you up too, coach, because you're doing a phenomenal job with the team, and it's been great, seeing how successful that the team can grow to be. Even if you take in the games, you have your lessons learned and things like that. So it's been great to kind of see that for the FAMU family.
But I mean, I know we touch on SWAC, man, but I also want to touch on the MEAC. I know we have our talks about MEAC football and how things going there, but credit to those guys. Obviously being in the MEAC last year, competing in that league, I know a lot of those coaches are very familiar with a lot of those teams. And Norfolk State, once again, it seems like it's put on replay nowadays. And what Larry Vickers is doing up there with his women's basketball program, not just the women, but the men as well. I mean, their men team consistently is getting it done. I think at one point there, I saw on Twitter that coach put up Robert Jones that they were 9-0, 10-0. I mean, he would literally count up every win. So they're doing a heck of a job, phenomenal job, and he does it year in, year out. And when you want to have the conversation of coaching carousel and jobs opening up and opportunities, as much as I love Coach Jones in the MEAC, I think he's very deserving of an opportunity at the next level, should he desire that. Just like I said, it's one thing to be a great coach and have a great year, but it's a totally different thing to be a natural winner and to be able to win consistently as he's done there at Norfolk State. And I can say the same about Larry Vickers. Just doing a great job, really recruiting to their teams well. Obviously, I think they're in basketball hotbeds, but they're using it to their advantage. And kudos to them for, what they're able to accomplish there. Joe Bryant there for Norfolk State, the leading scorer in the MEAC. He's killing it. I mean, that's what he's been doing. This is nothing new. He continues to get after it. Coach Jones continues to have the high level of expectation, and the team continues to be successful. And if I had to predict it right now, I see them in the NCAA tournament once again, along with the basketball, Jackson State University. Can't be denied. Undefeated. Don't see them losing the game this season. Definitely see them getting in. On the men's side, look, I'm gonna be a little biased. Okay, I see my Rattlers getting back in there, fighting their way to the top. Standing at number 3 right now. But definitely got some great contests ahead that can put us in the position that we want to be in to get into that, NCAA tournament. But it's not going to be easy because every single night, I'm going to tell you right now, Southern and Texas Southern going to come out to play. And we got to come out to play.
Shoot, Coach, let me ask you a question. Let's go back to FAMU. And, the last seconds of the game and, because I know, and me and you both know, like, what it's like to be in that huddle as far as, like, the last seconds of the game, and you relying, because I know, like, you relying on your dogs to get it done. And, like, what would be, like, let's because we want to take a coach's mind, like, what is your mindset? What are you telling those players at those last final seconds you drawing the play up? What are you physically telling each player what they should be doing and, like, how they should be doing it? And that, just give me your mindset, like, you're at the game right now.
Well, first thing first, I mean, I'm gonna lean on LeBron quote. You got to trust your trainer. As I used to tell the girls all the time, we don't go to practice every day, for nothing. There's a purpose when we come to practice. There's things that we're working on for these very situations. And so when that moment comes up, I mean, you do it. But the reality of it is, man, every game is different. Every team is different. Every scout is different. When you get those opponents in front of you, depending on who may be hot in that game, your leading scorer might be cold as ice one night. Can't hit the side of a barn. And that's just the reality of it. So you have to play to your team's strengths at that time. You want to always try to put yourself, and your team in a position to win. What you draw up, I mean, ultimately it's on what's on your bench that night. This reality of the last 2 or 3 years, man, with COVID, you don't know who's showing up on your bench on any given night. That's just the reality of it. Between that and injuries, we've always had the injury bug, but I mean, that just makes it 10 times worse. So looking at the game, I think like we'll go back to that men's game, with FAMU. Coach did it right. I don't think that I would have done it any differently. Everybody's going to key in on your star player. I know a lot of times people say, oh, well, they got to go to him because that's the LeBron of the team. Or, oh, they got to go to him. Well, that's what everybody's expecting you to do. And right when they expect you to do something, that's where you got to be able to make those in-game adjustments and changes. And that's where you see the great coaches that are having the success. So it's really based on personnel. It's based on situation, a 2-point shot versus a 3-point shot. Foul trouble. When we're talking about the last seconds of the game, well, who do I got, still competing right now and who's disqualified? So there's a lot of different factors. I mean, as a coach, you're literally, people laugh all the time because coaches walk up and down that sideline. They be in a defensive basketball stance. I know you done seen me do it. Then did a sideline slide all the way down the sideline. You're locked in. When you're not locked in, you don't know what's going on. So when that moment happens, you don't know what to do. You don't know how to react. I call that just throwing it from the hip. And you got to be locked into the game. You got to know what's going on to know what has worked and what hasn't worked. And also in practice, you always want to develop your bread and butter plays where on these plays, my players are going to execute and we're going to get this bucket no matter what.
Yeah, most definitely. Just to piggyback off of what Coach is saying, like literally, like being locked in and being like that focused from knowing what they're going to do, knowing, okay, I know like number 18 on the other team, he got like 5 fouls. Okay, we in like 2 more fouls to be in the bonus. Be prepared if they foul you, make sure you shooting free throws. All right, I gotta know who's in and who can shoot the free throws. Because like if you don't know like these little mishaps during the game as far as who's in and who's not in and who got foul trouble and who's not, that can literally win you the game or that can lose you the game. So when I was looking at that play last night, like literally when he fell, I'm like, I just said, oh my gosh, game over. That I just did like that. Then like I just looked up and I saw the ball going in the air. I was like, oh, how he passed the ball? So like just him just being an athlete and him just, actually doing the play and going all out and falling and making that pass, doing that athletic to make that pass falling, and him just in the corner pocket, 8 ball, just whack him. There goes that man. That was a sight to see. That was definitely a sight to see. But one thing I do want to touch bases on again is definitely the Jackson State girls. Like they've been dominating for 3-4 years plus. Going into the tournament, even though they're not succeeding in the tournament, they're marking their place in the tournament no matter what. Like even March Madness, well, Jackson State girls gonna be in there. I wonder who they're gonna play. That's what they're saying. They'd be like, I wonder who's gonna come out the SWAC. They literally saying, well, Jackson State in March Madness this year. I wonder who they girls gonna play this year. There's not even focused on nobody different or nobody else, and that's how. And I got to give shout outs to their coach and how she recruits and how hard she be on the girls. Like that's what it takes to get there every year. So I'll definitely applaud to them, applaud to her, because any mishap now on, like that's going to be tough for them because they've been cutting it close in the last couple of games. What do you think about the last game they played, Coach K?
Well, I mean, like I said, man, I've also saw some changes on the bench personnel. Don't know if there's injuries or what the case may be, but man, I remain confident in saying that Jackson State is that dominant. I mean, everybody has off nights, as we all know. You're up and you're down, and basketball is a game of runs. But I mean, credit to the opponent, the team that they're playing. I mean, you got to give them credit as well. But I certainly believe that Jackson State. I mean, what Coach Reed has done. Let me tell you 2 common denominators. So Coach Reed has been there for about 3-4 years, right? Anisha Williams has been there for about 3-4 years, right? Jackson State has been dominant for about 3-4 years, right? There you go. That's the reality of it. As long as you have those pieces in place, there is going to be success. As long as you have a 6'4" post that's dominating the middle, averaging 18 to 20 points a game, they're going to dominate. She's not, finishing both hands around the basket. you can't do anything with it. All they can do is it's Fowler. And I'm confident that that young lady could play in any conference in the country. You know, they're fortunate to have her at Jackson State University. She's just an outstanding talent. I think you'll see them get right. You know, sometimes too, and I'll say this, and I think we can all speak to this being former athletes ourselves, but sometimes there's that complacency. As much as coaches don't want it to happen, the reality of it is in their mindsets, there is complacency. And I think in these last couple of games, there might have been a little bit of that. However, they're built for this. This isn't their first rodeo. They've been here before. And I think that the coaching staff there with Coach Reed, I think they're going to do exactly what they have to do to get their team out of this little muffle and, get back on the street. Now, and notice now, we're talking about an undefeated team in conference because of a close game. It says a lot. It says a lot. They're just that dominant. So again, if I had to pick it right now, if I had to put my bottom dollar on it, Jackson State University is in the NCAA tournament without a doubt about it.
Jerry, what's your thoughts on that, man?
Yeah, I agree with him. I personally got a background in football, but at Winston-Salem State, we had been winning the conference for 7 years straight. We had a little time period where we got complacent and kind of did some of the same things, but those true leaders on your team, the core values of your team will kind of pull together saying, hey guys, we're not playing Jackson State basketball. We're not playing Winston State football. We got to come together and get things back on track. And seeing that the players that they have, I think they have the right leaders in place to make that happen. So I'm agreeing with him. I think Jackson State will continue to dominate and make the tournament and actually shock the world at that level. So.
Y'all can hear me now. Perfect. Okay, so Coach, I got a quick question for you. Who do you think Jackson State has the most challenge with? We can pull out a team, who gives them that challenge, run for their money, but can be consistent in that aspect.
Yeah, well, I think Southern University on the women's side has a really good team. One thing I like about them, they get up and down. Coach Carl's been doing it for a long time. They transition. Them little guards can go. They can flat out fly. I think that, if at the end of the day in the matchup, when you're talking about the SWAC championship, that's what you got. That's going to essentially be your matchup. You're going to have speed versus skill and size. That's the reality of it. I do think Jackson State will edge them, but Southern is a very good team. Very good team. And when they're playing disciplined basketball, they can beat anybody on any given night. They score in bunches all over the place. I watched them when they obviously came down and played in Tallahassee against FAMU, and they're just gritty. They don't give up. They're going to get into you. They're going to press you. They're going to play. They're going to cause havoc, as we used to say it. At FAMU, that's what they're going to do defensively. They're going to cause you to force turnovers and turn the ball over, and going to get easy buckets. Southern's a really good team. Another, I got to give credit to my guy Freddie Murray. Out at Grambling State University, man. Freddie, he's getting it done. He has a young lady out there that can score consistently for him. He's a very defensive-minded coach, and I think that, basketball is a game of matchups too. I understand, like Southern, yes, they're up and down, and their scoring makes me to believe that they can give Jackson State a run. However, Grambling State University, in the way that they defend, might actually be a closer game simply because of the fact that they're going to get into them defensively. And their offense comes from their defense. So Grambling State or Southern, either one of them, I feel like can really give them a run. Now, again, I'm not going to belittle Jackson State because it's the force right now. Maybe when Anisha Williams graduate, maybe we're having a different conversation. But I actually looked at that roster the other day, and I don't know if she's redshirting this year or what the case may be. But they got a young lady on that roster named Daphne White. Yeah, the next Anisha Williams coming right behind her. They just keep reloading. So
they just keep reloading. They'll never get tired. Don't get
tired. And look, I got to give Coach Reed credit, because a lot of people's going to want to tie this into Jackson State football and Deion Sanders, and obviously everything he's been done there, fabulous, outstanding. As an HBCU alumni, I love it, But Coach Reed was doing this before Coach Sanders ever got walked into the door. Yeah, so she's been out here doing this. This is a brand that she created for her program, and they're continuing to rise above. But one thing I want to say, and I want to get you guys' thoughts on, Obviously, in football, we have the Celebration Bowl where the two top HBCU programs get together, link up, and match up, right? What about the ideal of Jackson State University and Larry Vickers, Norfolk State? What about the ideal of, because FAMU will be winning the conference championship? Let's put that out there, disclaimer. But how about the ideal of Robert McCullen and the FAMU Rattlers, going over to take over Robert Jones and Norfolk State? I think we got a heck of a game. And when you're talking about increasing attendance, growing the game, I think it's phenomenal. I wait for that day to see that tournament play out. I think that would just be really good for the game and really good for all HBCUs.
I think you hit the nail on the head. And just me speaking more from a business aspect, right? We want to be able to build our HBCU community up, especially our athletic programs, right? And to have that type of matchup, it's only going to speak volumes of what we can continue doing. And I'm also a longevity person, right? To have that type of matchup consistently, like everybody's going to be looking forward to this game, right? Like just like how everybody be looking forward to Florida Classic, right? Bayou Classic, so the Heritage Classic. Like those are the type of games that we need in order to continue that cycle of building our HBCUs up and giving the recognition that they need. And I think that's exactly what that type of matchup could definitely do for our athletics. So I'm in agreement. I would love to see it. You got my vote. So if you need that, just let me know. I will be the spokesperson for the game. I promise you I'll be right there. Just like, let's do it. I got my pen and pad, got my little briefcase in hand. We talking business at the end of the day. You know what I mean? Because essentially that's what athletics is. Everybody want to try to downplay and act like that's the elephant in the room. It is what it is. We're a business, but we also cater to, building our athletes up, making sure our coaches are in a safe space, right? But at the end of the day, we do have to make sure that we're continuing to market and promote so that we can continue to grow and sustain. So I love it. I love the idea.
So go ahead, Jerry.
One thing I got to say about that is money. That's money on the table right there. Money on the table. That's going to bring fans from everywhere. Fans from down south, up north, everywhere will come to that game. I can guarantee that for both schools, not only for the home or away team, but I think both schools will have a huge benefit from that. And the programs will be enhanced financially by a lot. And not only that, exposure as well. Because, you got kids up in that area that may not have heard of that certain program that's in a different area. So I feel like it'd be a benefit for both schools.
Shoot, Coach, I don't want to do you one better, right? Because I'm glad you got on this topic because I was going to ask you this, man. This old prophet from Atlanta said I'll be fresh as hell when the feds watching.
Here we go.
2 Chainz got his own basketball team in College Park, right? So, imagine Atlanta, the College Park Classic, FAMU boys, Norfolk State boys, Jackson State girls, and whoever else you want, and bring some other more colleges in College Park, in Atlanta, before basketball season start. Coach, don't tell me people will come and see those games. And you got 2 Chainz done. You got a couple of more rappers done. You got Dave Vince, not boy, Atlanta be popular.
Man, it'll be the thing. I mean, we've hit the nail on the head. I mean, as with anything, money, the business, it all plays into it. You want to talk about filled up, sold out arenas? It will grow to so much more than a basketball game. Mm-hmm. How HBCUs do. I'm gonna tell you, if the tournament start on Saturday, Friday gonna be a step show. Thursday gonna be a social show. We're gonna turn it into a whole week, a festivity. I mean, look, think about this. And this was a single conference and not all the teams. 10 years ago, the MEAC tournament, and what that was. Man, sold out. Sold out. I mean, everybody that was involved in HBCU sports had those dates circled on their calendar. No questions asked. And now you're talking about bringing upward 20 plus Division I HBCU programs into one arena. Talk about money. I mean, you got money. But I don't want to forget this thought. I got to bring this up right now because Ty is my guy. And I'm so proud of him having one of the biggest turnarounds in all of NCAA Division I basketball. Shout out to Tennessee State University. Ty is getting it done. I don't think they won a game or thought about winning a game last year, and Ty has turned that thing around. I mean, getting it done, beating teams that, was blowing them out by 30, 40 points last year. Obviously, has been around the game. His last stop prior to that was at Auburn University. Got that opportunity to be the head coach at Tennessee State and getting it done. And I'm very proud. I'm elated, very happy for him because he's a good friend. I've seen him put his work in, and now he's getting the success. So kudos to him. I know oftentimes we don't see them as much because they're not in the SWAC or the MEAC or the CIAA. So just want to give him credit to what he's doing there with that program.
That's huge.
Definitely. Shout out to A&T. They ain't in the MEAC or the SWAC. And shout out to them boys in Hampton.
Hampton.
Shout out to the long lost brothers, but ain't so long and lost.
Hey,
They're not so
lonely
long
ships
and
at
long.
Now, Ron, we can't sleep on them now because I'm gonna tell you, Coach Robinson at North Carolina A&T, one of the best coaches in the country, hands down. I'm gonna tell you this. This is how highly I think of him. When the North Carolina job opened up a few years ago, that's the first name I feel like they should have had on the list. You want to talk about somebody that flat out knows the state, can flat out win, has won his entire career. Man, look, they started out conference play this year, losing bad. Missing a couple pieces with injuries and with COVID. Man, I think right now, in the last 6 games, they may have dropped 1. I mean, that's just the type of coach he is. He's learned the conference, first year in the league. He's adjusted, and now they're doing what they've been doing. And I see them doing many big things. Even Coach Six over there at Hampton, great coaches, man. You're talking about guys that's been around this stuff, guys that has won, has been successful. And, I don't think that, give them 2-3 years in the new conference, I think they're going to be dominant.
Definitely.
I got one question for you. I'm from the North Carolina area, so around here, Lavelle Moten is the name of the coach that's the top dog. So how does he compare as far as coaching, as far as with A&T's coach?
Gotcha. Well, Lavelle Moten got his own part. I don't know if the coach got his own part. But great, man, great coaches. I mean, 2 names that are, future Hall of Famers, if you will. Terrell Robinson has obviously been super successful on the women's side, recruits all over the country, gets the right pieces in. Look, I've lost some recruiting battles. I humbly say that to Terrell. And he does a heck of a job getting these young ladies in there year in, year out. But Lavelle Moten, he's like a shelf name. Anywhere in the country. You want to talk about somebody that's deserving of a job. If there's anybody in any HBCU institution right now, it's got to be Lavelle Moten. You even look at what they went up there and did just a few nights ago up there at Norfolk State. Hey, they got the job done. They got the job done. And that's a very good team that they're competing against. So, yeah, I don't know that you can compare Lavelle to anybody because, he got his own part. I don't know if y'all been to the Lavelle Moten part, but I had to go just so I can say, man, I see you, man. I see you out here.
Statue all that.
All that.
One last thing. Shout out to the South Carolina State boys. They are leading the nation in rebounding and offensive rebounding. So shout out to South Carolina State, man. They're leading in that category, man. You can't let these little minor things slip out into the air, man. Because rebounding doesn't want to. So shout out to them boys.
Yeah, for sure. They were looked upon as like one of the worst 3 teams in the country last year. That's the reality of it. It has been that way for the past couple of years. Coach just got in there in his first season, and I think right now they're number 3 in the conference. And competing every night, can compete on any given night against anybody. So yeah, caveat to that, man. Absolutely. Shout out to South Carolina State University and the job that they've done there.
Definitely. Man, thank you, Coach. Shoot, that was a whole lot of insight. Things we knew, things we didn't know. Told you this boy like an encyclopedia. He
dropping jewels everywhere.
Go from kindergarten that coach to when he was a PE. You know what I'm saying? So
hey, as long as it ain't Saturday or Monday night, y'all got me. But
thank you.
Saturday and Monday nights, baby. I'm on my SWAC. I'm on my MEAC basketball. Getting it in. Just great basketball, man, around the HBCU landscape, and really excited for the postseason, man. I can't wait till we all had an opportunity to meet up at a MEAC tournament or at a SWAC tournament and really be able to see that thing firsthand with one another and have that discussion there. So I'm excited what this can be, man. Thank you so much for having me. It's truly been an honor, man. And anytime you want to talk hoops, man, I'm here for you.
Definitely.
Thank you, Coach.
Definitely appreciate you.
My pleasure. Thank you all.
Y'all will be seeing Coach more, every week as the show progresses, and every week as we go into March Madness. We definitely gonna have Coach on to talk about, basketball, and definitely during the off season, definitely need to talk about some recruiting classes, what they're doing, how the teams are, making their class, because this transfer portal is wide open and it's going to be new for basketball, just like it was for football this year. So definitely we're going, I'm pretty sure next year, we're gonna be at that tournament, man.
Yeah, I'm gonna say it one more time. Evolve or be extinct.
Yes,
Love that.
Boils down to there's not a team in the top 10 in the country that does not have 1, 2, 3, 4 transfers on that roster right now. So for my coaches, it's time to get to work. Hey, appreciate y'all having me, man. Looking forward to speaking with you guys the next time.
All right.
Thanks, Coach.
Coach, peace out. Shoot, that was two good people that came in here, did their
It's
thing.
the jewels that have been dropped on this conversation. So
Knowledge.
much knowledge. Man, I feel like we're going to be learning as well as conversing. And that's what I love about shows like this, where you can just pick up, understand, grasp new concepts, grasp new perspectives, right? And then be able to just have conversations with people. We need more of this. This is what we need.
Yeah, most
This
definitely.
is the one.
Yeah, most definitely. But welcome back to the pre-snap read. We had a little commercial break. We talked about football and what's going
Basketball,
on. We
JSU,
basketball, and them dominant girls, man. But we gotta get the one little nugget in the football land that we really need to talk about. Robyn, I'm gonna go ahead and let you present the thing.
All right, Sanders deal with Gatorade. I just feel like one that is huge for not just Sanders as a player, as an athlete, but putting that limelight again back to JSU on just a different type of level, right? We want this to be highlighted not only for other players to then eventually get, certain deals like this, but then also kind of just playing into how, Grambling has their thing. I just feel like everybody is just growing into a way that we've been trying to get HBCU athletics to get to a long time. But neither here nor there. We're here, and I feel like this is huge. It's big for him. Do we want it to be for, the entire athletic program? Yes, eventually we're going to get there. But Dion is really doing it, and this is huge to have his athlete, his son, be able to sign this deal with Gatorade. That is huge, right? I don't know, guys. This is a really good stepping stone for this program to have that as an example of what they could do in the future. So, what you guys got?
Yeah, for me, one word comes to mind that the Qs always use: massive. Massive deal for Sanders. Not only Sanders, but a massive deal for JSU. Massive deal for HBCUs. I feel like this is going to be the first of many, deals like that coming to, not only JSU, but coming to, Grambling got their deal. FAMU may get a NIL deal for their whole team as well. But I think it's huge for HBCUs, and it's one of many to come. Who knows? Powerade may be next. Vitamin Water. 50 Cent may give him a call, have him on power. You never know.
Stop playing. I'm about to have the Power Bud, what, number 5? HBCU land. Come on now. Stop playing.
So, but yeah, man, that deal is big. When you think of Gatorade, like the one name come to my mind is Michael Jordan. Like Michael Jordan back in the day was Gatorade, and Gatorade was Michael Jordan. So I'm not comparing the Shador to Michael Jordan at all. So please don't get it twisted, because I know y'all I don't, them them crazy people in Jackson State, they've just probably heard Michael Jordan, and they'll say, "Oh, he compared them to Michael Jordan. He about to take it. He
There's
about to
no
give us 6."
comparison.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah. I'm just saying.
Separate.
Yeah, separate. Separate. Not equal. They're not equal.
Separate, but
They're
equal.
not equal.
Separate and not equal.
Not the Brown versus Board.
Yeah.
Hey man, we intellectual human beings here. We know how to understand and make comparisons. I understand where you're going, Ron.
I'm telling you, somebody gonna say, "Oh, Bridges on Top said he compared Michael Jordan to Schnorr." Nah, I ain't say that. I'm just saying when it comes to that Gatorade deal, like the name you think of is Michael Jordan and what he have done, and you know, once you get in that realm of Gatorade, then there's more to come.
Yeah.
You know, so Shador already has some little NIA deals with Tom Brady and Under Armour and little stuff like that, but definitely he has his own commercial. He's the only student. He's the second student athlete to have his own commercial. The quarterback from Clemson, he has the Dr. Pepper commercial, and Shador. There are the only two athletes in the world that has their own commercial. So that is a test of time. That is like you can tell something to your kids as far as you know what Primetime has built for his family, because he's building up those young men and young girls that he has to, you know, he basically molding them to, you know, be a better Primetime. So, you know, shout outs to Jackson State, shout outs to Gatorade for that big deal. I'm pretty sure they did some other little small deal with, you know, some of the other players or the offensive line or something that had to be done because, you know, I'm pretty sure everybody eating out there on the football team as far as, you know, Jackson State goes.
Absolutely. Grambling deal. So are we going to touch back on it, or what's your thoughts for the Grambling and NIL deal? Since we kind of, you know, we got Kobe's perspective on it. We talked a little bit about it. What do you think?
I think we hit it. I think, yeah, ain't no need to create a wheel, so we hit it. I'm gonna edit this little part out.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then lastly, Legacy Bowl. Okay.
Yeah.
Everybody mark your calendars. The first in history Legacy Bowl, which is catered to none other than HBCUs, right? And not only are we going to talk about the fact that this is for our HBCU community or HBCU football players and all of that, but it's in the greatest city in the world. I'm a little biased, but New Orleans stands up. If you're from New Orleans, if you've ever been to New Orleans, if you have family in New Orleans, you still count, because it is going to be so live to have all of these players competing in the Superdome of all arenas. Like, I just feel like, one, I wish I was an HBCU football player at this point, because, baby, to be in that bowl, to be competing, and not only you're going to be having scouts there, this is a perfect opportunity for these guys to get looked at, because we are seeing all of these different scenarios that we've played out. I mean, even just taking FAMU a couple of years back, you know, people not showing up to pro days. You got, you know, these athletes trying to vie for an opportunity to showcase and get exposure. This is an amazing opportunity for these guys. So I really applaud. And if y'all ever have a chance, look on the website, and it has so many different sponsors, to Home Depot, to the Pelicans, to the Saints. You have Citibank that's going to be showing up. But not only are they going to be doing the bowl, they're also going to be incorporating a whole career fair, you know? So this type of event caters to so many different aspects. That's why I feel like it's going to be successful. Right. So it's not just playing onto the strengths of what football can do, but it also plays into the strengths of how we can be able to build up these wonderful, amazing HBCU students, alum. You know, we're bringing folks back. Again, it's going to be in the city, not to mention Mardi Gras is going to be the next weekend. So it's so much that's going on, but highly represent I'm going to actually name a couple of the players that's going to be there, because that's another thing that I've noticed, that on the website they have a whole list of not only the participating teams but also the participating players as well. So just to give you guys a little tidbit, you got Will Adams, DB from Virginia State. You got D. Anderson from Alabama A&M. We just spoke so highly of Florida A&M. We got Bishop Bonnet running back there. We got Greg Brooks from Fayetteville State, pulling out some of the Mississippi Valley. I know, shout out to Kobe who was mentioning them. Jeremiah Kane, DL. Like, so many players that are going to be able to showcase their talent. It's amazing. Again, it's going to be next weekend, New Orleans. And I also think they're going to be televising the game. Here, let me look.
Mm-hmm.
I do believe they're going to be televising the game. I'm going to get the actual.
It's NFL Network.
Yes,
That's who's going
NFL
to be
Network.
covering the game. Yeah. So on that part, NFL Network will be covering the game. Comes on at 3:00, I believe. They got play-by-play with Charles Davis, Bucky Brooks. I think there's one more person that's covering the game, but yeah, it's a lot of coverage, a lot of exposure for that time. You did mention some players, and I want to first say it's crazy that they got Division I and Division II players, all
Correct.
HBCUs.
Definitely.
But it would be
It's
wrong for me.
every opportunity. That's the great thing.
It would be wrong for me not to shout out, Winston-Salem State's finest. We got
Here it is.
we got DB Joshua Flowers. He is an amazing athlete. I have watched him play a couple times. Great kid. Great guy in the classroom. You got Tyshon Taylor, linebacker from Winston-Salem State, another great player as well. I want to say I think I remember him seeing him actually. I think I actually seen him a couple times before. But these are two amazing players from a Division II program that are also playing in this big time game. So not only good exposure for HBCU athletes on Division I level, but HBCUs across the world.
Man, definitely. This is big, man. Like, if they would have had this like 5 years ago, this probably would have been the number one ticket to go to, being for real, because like football in February, like that's kind of unheard of, and at this magnitude, it's talking about just HBCUs and all these athletes coming together to showcase their talent before they go in the draft, which you can particularly go to like 3 leagues now. You can either go the Canada route, you can go NFL, or FXL is coming back around. Arena League still is out right now, so like you can potentially go to one of those avenues, that you may not think of just playing in this game, and this gives you more of a look at, and a more of a okay, I still got something to showcase, and especially for those D2 schools, that scouts do miss, scouts do look over. They have an opportunity, they have a chance of a lifetime to play like some of the D1 players and say, hey, I'm better than you, and I'm gonna show you out there on the field. So that's definitely amazing. Sure, I know. I wish we would have known about it, because all 3 of us would have been there. We would have been
I'm really mad. It's in my city, y'all. Like,
oh,
I'm
but
and the thing about it is too, I think this is a really perfect timing for something like this, because we're still kind of going to be riding the wave of football. Like, Super Bowl is this coming up weekend. Then right after that, like, we're still in that mindset of like, we still need football. And like, just to throw this at us, it's really a perfect opportunity to be able to showcase it. I'm really interested in seeing how successful the event is going to be right after, and seeing, and not only that, they're going to be highlighting some Hall of Fame. I got the board of trustees. You got Doug Williams, James Harris, Willie Lanier, Mel Blount, like all of these legacies in this sport. Like, it's amazing to see this, and I'm really excited to see how these players are able to come out there, showcase their talent, get looked at, get scouted, and hopefully some great opportunities comes out for these young men. Like, they deserve it. They deserve the recognition that they're doing the same good fight as anyone else at any institution. So I feel like this is a great opportunity for them, for sure. I'm really mad I can't be there. I'm really mad.
Man,
I'm
I tell
mad
you
with
what.
you. But definitely let's highlight this part about the about that Legacy Bowl. I mean, I was on the YouTube page, the helmets and all that stuff looks dope. But they're actually doing a career fair for undergrad and graduates that went to HBCU. So like, let's highlight that part in whole, because when you're talking about just football game, you're just there for football. Enjoy yourself and get going for the weekend. But no, they're actually bringing top companies, top notch people to looking to hire, looking to give somebody a shot at an internship. So, Robyn, can you tell us more about that?
Of course, yeah. So one thing about it, I just want to start off by saying that admission is free. Let's just hold that
$3.99
up here. And
$3.99.
it's bolded with a pair. I'm literally reading the HBCU Legacy Bowl Career Fair presented by the New Orleans Saints will provide job opportunities. You're going to have career counseling. Now, this is for our HBCU juniors and seniors. So for those that are listening, just be mindful of that. But again, right after that sentence, admission is free. So just to talk about a little bit of the companies that's going to be there, I have Coca-Cola, you got State Farm, the NFL, NFL Network. You got the Vikings are going to be showing up. You got Ochsner Health is going to be there. You got Hilton Honors, so the entire Hilton family. You got Caesars. You got Cox, so many other names. And so basically they're just going to have a schedule of events. And so each time period, you're going to have speakers that's going to be talking about their own experiences, the careers that, as an athlete who has just graduated or about to graduate, that's a huge thing for our athletes to know what is life without sports. And I feel like that is essential to have an event that culminates, having career fairs, introducing them to what it looks like to actually hold something, some type of job that you're interested in. And not just, okay, I'm done with my sport, what do I do with life? No, like, you have a lot of opportunities to have conversations with some of the guest speakers. They're going to be doing networking events. Bring your resumes, bring your business cards, bring a proposal if you're an entrepreneur and you're trying to start a business. There are going to be so many different opportunities to just showcase who you are as a person and overall, ready to get into the career type of person. So that'll start on that Thursday. So that's February 17th. And then it'll continue on the next day on that Friday. And then Saturday would be the game. So again, another weekend filled of events. Every day is something to look forward to. Stan Verrett is going to be there. He's going to be actually one of the guest speakers, the keynote speaker on that Thursday. You got Cedric Richmond. He's going to be there as well on that Friday. So just they're really pulling this together. I'm really proud of us. I'm proud of us as a community of people.
Yeah.
Again, Black History
History
Month.
Yes.
Like, how do you get better? You just keep. I love it. So yeah,
Amazing.
That's the Legacy Bowl, guys. Stay tuned. Pay attention. I'm putting this on my calendar for next year. I don't know if they're actually going to do it at the same time. I also think that what I've heard is they're just kind of doing a trial run, especially because, again, they got Mardi Gras going on around this time. But, Mardi Gras is different every year. I'm just going to let you know. But I'm really interested in seeing how this is going to play out for them. This is exciting.
Definitely. Shoot, one more last question. Who going to win the Super Bowl?
Joe Burrow is my man. But no, I think, okay, here's the thing. Go LSU in totality. Jamar Chase, Odell Beckham, Joe Burrow, all the other LSU players that I forgive me for not mentioning. But I think this is the fair matchup. That's what I'm going to say. I feel like just looking at from the AFC champions versus the NFC championship, I am not mad at this matchup at all. Like, so with that being said, because the matchup I feel like is so fair and so deserving for both teams, I could go honestly either way. You know what I mean? I feel like they're going to give a good game. I feel like they're going to get pressure for each other. It's probably going to go down to the last bar. I wouldn't be surprised if it's down to a field goal. I'm going to be very honest with you, because I just feel like their play game and how they react is just, they're both quality teams that deserves that opportunity for sure. Just looking across the board, how they began their season, where they are now. Like, who would have thought the Bengals would be in the championship? Because I didn't. I didn't think of. I'm going to be very honest. So at the end of the day, though, I'm gonna say the Bengals for sure. That's who I got for sure.
I don't know.
Just,
I can't agree with you there, Rob. I can't agree with you there.
I'm saying.
You got Aaron Donald, you got Odell, you got Sam. You got everybody that's there has been in the league for a long time on that Rams defense. Von Miller, he actually already has a Super Bowl ring, but guys on that team are hungry. They're on the end of their career. I want these guys to get them a ring before they go. Aaron Donald is my guy. I tried to play D-line just like him when I was in high school, going into college. But I think it's their time to go ahead and get that ring. I love Joe Burrow. I love that LSU, tandem they got going on. But I gotta go with the Rams.
I wouldn't be mad at that, because I am rooting just for Odell to get it. I was damn near tears when they won that game. I was like, we did it, Joe. Like, I was like, let's get it. So I'm not mad at that at all, Jerry. I ain't gonna lie to you. I'm not mad if they got it. And just to be an LA Ram and win in LA, that just sets a different type of tone. So I know they're gonna be coming with the heat, because they're at home. Like, that's them. They got their people around them. Now, I know Cincinnati gonna show up, but just to be, y'all know, to win at home is a different type of feeling, especially if it's the Natties.
Yeah, like how Tampa did it. It did the same thing. So
history
does repeat itself.
LSU won in New Orleans. That counts.
I was at that game, getting it in, turning up all that. Loved it.
I am an LSU Tiger, y'all, so don't forget about it.
Go
That's
Tigers.
my undergrad, but also go Rapids. Both.
I feel like the game gonna come down to who throw more picks. Being honest with you, Matthew Stafford, he always throw for one pick every game. Every game, he's just gonna throw for one pick. So if you X that one out and put it at 0-0, so it's gonna come down to who's gonna get that turnover, who's gonna make that sack at the last little minute or last 4 minutes, or I ain't even gonna say 4 minutes. I'm gonna say last 2 minutes of the game. That's gonna be key for both teams as far as defensive matchups and offensive matchups, because at even Jalen Ramsey is very good, but at any given time you see he slips up. So just i.e. that. And i.e., the Bengals as far as like their offensive cohesiveness, So I just give it like I don't know who's gonna win.
You gotta choose. Everybody else chose. You gotta choose. Red pill or the blue pill.
You will live forever or have all the money in the world.
If I have to choose this off of like what's going to happen, I'm gonna choose the Rams. And that's just me. But if I have to choose off of just pulling something like out their sleeve, it's gotta go to Joe Burrow. But me, I gotta go.
Yeah. All right. Well, we're gonna see. Look, Sunday is gonna be here before you know it. It's gonna be 3:30. What? 3 o'clock on Pacific time. 5:30, I think, on Central. Something like that, or 6:30.
6 on
something like
Eastern.
that.
Yeah.
6 on Eastern for sure.
Yeah. So that'll be the end of our show. Thank y'all for watching. Follow us on Instagram.
Instagram, Twitter.
I'm gonna have their Instagram. I'm gonna have their Twitter in the bio under the video and all that other stuff. So y'all can go follow. Know these two lovely people too. I'm gonna have CFL underneath there. I'm gonna have Coach Ken. I'm gonna have everybody underneath there so y'all can follow us, ask us questions, give us topics to talk about. So man, peace out, love.